Oh, wow. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I really like how it kind of accents its way into the guitar itself.
Wow.
It's not going to get in the way.
It goes with the sound hole. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Tools for musicians are very special things. They have to be something that ignites a creative spark in the musician. And Fluence and the development of Fluence ignited that spark in me. When we started hearing what Fluence was doing for electric guitars, I said, boy, that would really be useful in an acoustic guitar. The clarity, the separation of notes that you can obtain with a Fluence pickup. I said, we really should try and explore this in the acoustic arena. Why the hell would an acoustic guitar company come up with an electric guitar pickup? But when we finally decided to enter that market, it was because we thought we had something truly unique for musicians. It's what it does for their art, their playing, their sound.
Hey, river woman, tell me my fortune tonight. Give me your name and we'll dance till sunrise. Alright. Smile is sweet as sugar, but her life's so cold. She'll look into your eyes, babe. You can tell that she knows.
Fluence was a departure from what Fishman has been known for many years, decades actually. We have been heavily involved in amplifying acoustic instruments of all kinds, violins, cellos, basses, mandolins, acoustic guitars of all types. I always thought that if we were going to get into the electric guitar market, so it would have to really be a reason to do it. It just wouldn't be another wire-wound pickup competing with the giants in the industry. They were all doing a great job. There was no reason for us to enter that market if we didn't have something new, different, and really exciting to offer. So that's where the Fluence journey started. And it's evolved over 10 or 11 years into a really remarkable experience for Fishman as a company. The amount of adoption by world's greatest guitar players has been absolutely mind-blowing to us. The line has grown, so many SKUs now, it's hard to count, but that's due to the flexibility of Fluence. We can really shape the tonality, the timbre, the dynamic response of an electric guitar pickup like it's never been shaped before. We can custom build for important artists, OEM customers, things of that nature. We can offer a variety that's never been available before. And in addition, they're all multi-voices, so you're getting a combination of really different sounds. It's almost like having pickups magically change their physical presence in the guitar when you hit the switch. That, to me, is exciting.
You wear your grief like a coat. Take it off after the show. Whenever you've had enough.
It was a labor of love because there was so much unknown areas that just exposed themselves during the development of Fluence. I was constantly surprised that, wow, what do we have in our hands here? This is really exceptional. It's giving us opportunities to do things that we always dreamed about as far as clarity, all the attributes, consistency, flexibility. But the pickup's like a small musical instrument in itself. It can be tuned, the timbre can be changed, the output levels can change. These are things that really reflect the touch, the dynamic range of the instrument, the colors. These are the elements that guitar players paint the pictures with. And thanks to the amazing designers, musicians, the people that work at Fishman alongside with myself, the engineers, the scientists, the guitar players, we really latched onto something that presented opportunities to players that were struggling with inconsistencies in pickups, with wanting clarity, wanting a responsiveness that has never been really defined before, a touch sensitivity, things of that nature. The Fluence platform is so flexible and so stable that we're literally able to go in a day, dial in a response and a sound that a really exceptional guitar player has been looking for in their entire life, and to nail it on the first shot. That to me is pretty wild. When we started hearing what Fluence was doing for electric guitars, I said, boy, that would really be useful in an acoustic guitar. The clarity, the separation of notes that you can obtain with a Fluence pickup. I said, we really should try and explore this in the acoustic arena. I got together with Dr. Lin, who is my head of R&D, and I said, Chingu, let's make an acoustic pickup. And we made a raw acoustic pickup, listened to it with these coils that we had, and boy, it sounded really good. I said, there's a lot of promise here, but we have an opportunity because we print coils rather than wind them. We could change the shape, make any shape we want, because we don't have issues of winding wires around weird shapes. And I thought about it, and I said, you know, the thing about electric guitar style pickups when put in acoustic guitars is that they always kind of sound like an electric guitar pickup. You know, the vowel sounds that are coveted and that make electric guitars really interesting really don't have a place in amplifying an acoustic guitar. They color it too much. And I said, there's got to be a way to mitigate that. And I said, let's change the shape and see what happens. And we experimented with a few shapes, and we suddenly realized that, wow, these do not sound like a humbucker or a Strat. Even though in the neck position where we put it is basically the same place that Leo put his and that Gibson puts theirs, it's there for a reason in electric guitars, for sure. There's a thing called comb filtering, and that occurs when there is a pickup, unlike a piezo bridge pickup where the sensor is at the very end of the string and sees the total harmonic content of the string, no matter how long the string is, no matter where you're fretting it. With a pickup that's somewhere else, it becomes a ratio where when you pluck the string, there's two transverse waves. One goes toward the neck, the other one goes towards the bridge. They reflect back, and when they reflect back to where the pickup is, they create notches and phase cancellation. Comb filtering is really important because the human ear is very attuned to what we call vocal formants. And what that does, it allows us to discern language in a noisy environment. Has to do with the resonances in your head and things of that nature, your tonal memory. It's very interesting that different cultures and different languages, their comb filtering or their vocal formants are kind of slightly different places, but they're there. And I said, why does a curved arc-shaped pickup in the neck position sound so different than an electric guitar straight across pickup in the same position? And it was a puzzle for a long time until we started looking at the comb filtering. And we realized that we've been listening to electric guitar pickups for 80 years. All the popular music, all the music we cherish, has those very desirable characteristics in the response of the electric guitar. Our tonal memory for that is incredible. I mean, our ears are like spectrum analyzers. And when we hear that, and we hear it repeatedly, no matter what the guitar is, you can hear across the room, oh, he's playing an electric guitar. And it could be any style of electric guitar because you're hearing those formants made by the comb filtering due to the pickup shape and location. We said, boy, we don't have to live with that anymore. We do have comb filtering in our arc-shaped pickup, but it's an unfamiliar comb filtering pattern, so it's not the one that we've remembered for the past 80 years. And it's astonishing to me that the interaction of your ear and the musical instrument and the filtering and all the physical things that are happening could yield something so different and so really right for acoustic guitars. This comb filtering pattern is so different because of the shape that our ear is hearing something that it's not accustomed to hearing in a guitar pickup. And I said, I think that's the key here.
I like the contour, looks stylish, fits in well, but it's not, it doesn't jump out and take the attention away from the guitar. So visually it looks great.
There were also the issue of a very different type of string that had to be addressed to have an even response and to have the correct dynamic response. And that was an iterative process. It took almost a year to really get it in the sweet spot that the magnetic strength, the individual magnetic Gauss fields per string, and also the location with respect to the string was incredibly important. This is why we're not using adjustable pole pieces to get the string balance. It's an easy way to do it. But we also learned that just as important as the Gauss field strength to get that balance was the location or the distance from the pickup. You can't change one without affecting the other, and there's a timbral change. Yes, you can balance a pickup if it has a weaker string by pulling it closer. It makes the string louder, but also changes the sound. And I said, that's not good. To get the volume changed and the sensitivity that you want, we have a very sophisticated but simple shim system that we can raise and lower the pickup or tilt it and so forth without changing the timbral balance that would change if you had an individual pole piece moving up and down. And when that happens, you can really, it's really not just a sound, it's the dynamic response of the pickup. It is something that changes over time. When you hit the string, there's an attack that you can control and that you can, maybe you want it to have more attack or less attack, or in an acoustic guitar, you don't want it too fast because the guitar is kind of slow. The sound that comes out of the acoustic guitar is a little slower than the sound that comes out of the string because the body has to respond to it. So if you can slow that response down with the mechanics and the mechanical elements of the magnetic cloud, I think that was really, really key to getting the sweetness. People say, gee, I wish it were passive. Why didn't you go there? Well, we could have, but you give up so much when you have a passive pickup. You can't change your cable length, your sound changes. You can't truly adjust the resonant areas of the pickup that give it its timbre, its tonality, its flavor. In a passive pickup, you can roll some highs off, you can do things of that nature, but to take that classical second order low pass filter that's in different places in magnetic pickups and give them that voice and move them at will, it requires you to have a powered pickup. And because of that, it gives you the flexibility to put multiple voices in the same pickup with a flip of a switch or a turn of a dial. You can go from very different worlds in the same pickup and very useful combinations for different styles of playing. We decided to categorize it for different styles of music. And we have two voices in all of the Fluence acoustic pickups. We have 3 different models. Those voices are matched for different playing situations. We may have 5 models someday, but we're starting off with a good variety for fingerstyle, big strummers, fingerstyle, people that are playing in bands with drummers, other electric guitars. We even have something that emulates a P90 type of sound for someone that really wants to cut through. It's really remarkable what we can get out of this voicing variation.
I still enjoy his company, but he almost left me too free. And That's all I can think about.
It's not one size fits all. Yeah, the pickups all sound great. It's something that you have to experience and feel. You certainly notice that Fluence Acoustic has a unique shape, that beautiful arc that fits so nicely into your acoustic guitar. It melts into the guitar. It looks like it's part of the guitar. We love that. The aesthetic quality that people notice right away. But that arc shape and the location that we mounted it in allows things to happen that you can't get if you're clamping a standard straight across acoustic guitar pickup into the sound hole of a guitar. First, it moves all the clamping forces all the way up to the end of the neck where the guitar is stiffened anyway by a brace, and it's not restricting the natural vibration of the soundboard when it's down in the location that it has to be if it's a straight across pickup. It allows your instrument to breathe. You can hear it when you're not plugged in, playing at home. The touch, the feel, the things that you love about your instrument, it's because of the location. It's mounting on the guitar in a very stiffened part of the guitar anyway, because there's braces up there to keep the neck from collapsing. And so it's not slowing down that beautiful dynamic response that you get purely acoustically. It's just there observing. You know, when I think about the design experiments, the experience over a several-year period when we were developing Fluence Acoustic, there were a lot of ups and downs in that process. The final decisions about voicing and things of that nature that we've put into the instruments was really a labor of love, and it involved a lot of really sensitive musicians, people that really knew what they wanted out of a guitar. It was a collaborative effort with all the great people here at Fishman. It was inspiring to many of us. It was surprising to many. Wow, what's that? You know, it was a very joyful experience. Acoustic guitar players, it's now your turn.